1. 1521 Pope Leo X excommunicates Martin Luther. Let's talk about the excommunication of Martin Luther by Pope Leo X in 1521. In the early 16th century, Martin Luther issued the 95th Amendment, strongly criticizing corruption and the sale of indulgences in the Catholic Church in Germany. This became the starting point of the Protestant Reformation, and many sympathized with Luther's ideas. In response, the Church became increasingly nervous, and Luther became a symbol of challenging the Church's authority amid conflicts with the Pope. Eventually, on January 3, 1521, Pope Leo X excommunicated Luther, expelling him from the Catholic Church. This event became a major trigger to accelerate the Protestant Reformation, intensifying the conflict between Catholicism and the new Protestant denomination throughout Europe. It resulted in a significant change in the religious, social, and political landscape of Europe. This event is still remembered as one of the major turning points in Christian history to this day. 2. 1868 The restoration of the monarchy is declared in Japan, ending the Edo shogunate. Let's take a look at the restoration of the monarchy, which became an important turning point in Japanese history in 1868. The restoration of the monarchy in Japan as part of the Meiji Restoration in 1868 ended the 265-year-old Edo shogunate. This revived the system of centralization centered on the emperor. The restoration brought radical changes across politics, society, and the economy. With the active acceptance of Western technology and culture, Japan began to lay the foundation for a modern state. Through this, Japan achieved its own modernization, without becoming the only colony of Western powers in Asia. The restoration of the monarchy became an important foothold for Japan to increase its influence on the international stage. The modernization and development of Japan today can be attributed to the historical changes of this period. 3. 1918 Finland declares independence. Let's take a look at Finland's declaration of independence in 1918. At that time, Finland was under the control of the Russian Empire. However, when the Russian Revolution in 1917 gave Finland a chance for independence, this led to Finland's declaration of independence from the Tsar rule. On December 6, 1917, the Finnish parliament officially adopted the Declaration of Independence. However, independence was not easy. Since then, Finland has experienced brief civil war turmoil. However, overcoming such difficulties, Finland has established itself as an independent country to this day. This process has led to the development of Finland from Northern Europe into a country with an independent and democratic political system. Finland's independence marks an important turning point in European history, and it is also a symbol of their independence and development. 4. 1959 Alaska is incorporated into the 49th state of the United States. Let's take a look at the historical events of 1959. When Alaska was incorporated into the 49th U.S. state, Alaska was originally owned by Russia and was bought by the U.S. in 1867 for $7.2 million. At the time, it was ridiculed as unnecessary trade because it was the frozen land of the Ilium House of Representatives, but things changed over time. The military and economic importance of Alaska was highlighted in the 1950s when it was discovered that it had abundant natural resources, including gold and oil. Alaska was finally officially incorporated into the 49th U.S. state on January 3, 1959. It brought about a major change in the regional economy and culture, and is considered a significant moment for the U.S. territorial expansion. Until now, Alaska's incorporation has contributed greatly to the U.S. land and resources. 5. 1999 The United States launches the Mars rover lander. Let me tell you about the historic day in 1999 when the U.S. launched the Mars rover lander. On January 3, 1999, NASA launched a new mission to explore Mars. Lander is a rover designed to explore the surface of Mars and search for signs of geology, climate, and water. The launch played an important role in studying various characteristics of Mars and collecting data for future manned missions. Lander provided an opportunity for scientists to gain a deeper understanding of the environment on Mars. This explores the possibility of water presence on Mars, which has great implications for human plans to explore Mars in the long run. The lander launch marked another important milestone in space exploration, and many scientists are still working on the data. 6. 2004 A Boeing 737 charter flight of Egyptian civil airline Flash Air crashes into the Red Sea, killing all 148 people on board. Here's a story of a tragic aircraft crash in Egypt in 2004. On January 3, 2004, a Boeing 737 of Egypt's private airline Flash Air crashed into the Red Sea. The chartered plane was carrying about 148 passengers and crew members. Unfortunately, the accident resulted in the tragic loss of all passengers. The accident occurred shortly after takeoff, and there were initial findings suggesting that a problem with the aircraft could be the cause, but the exact cause is not clear. It drew international attention and raised awareness of safety issues, and later the need to strengthen aviation safety standards. Based on the lessons learned from the accident, airlines are conducting more thorough safety checks. Everyone should try to prevent such tragedies from happening again. 7. 2005, a fire breaks out at Chelsen Station on Seoul Subway Line 7. Here's a story about a fire that broke out at Chelsen Station on Seoul Subway Line 7 in 2005. At that time, around 2 p.m. on December 22, a fire broke out at Chelsen Station due to an electrical defect. Due to this accident, at least 2,000 people had to evacuate in an emergency. Fortunately, no casualties were caused due to rapid action during the evacuation process. However, the fire caused the temporary suspension of train operations, and air pollution from smoke caused inconveniences to nearby residents. This incident highlighted the importance of the subway system safety and regular inspection once again. The Seoul Metropolitan Government promised thorough management and inspection to prevent such accidents from happening again. The accident at Chelsen Station served as a reminder of how important the safety of public transportation is. 8. 2008, Barack Obama, Democrat, and Mike Huckabee, Republican, win the regional circuit for the presidential election in Iowa, United States. Let's take a look at the results of the Iowa circuit, which marked the first step toward the 2008 U.S. presidential election. In the race that drew much attention at the time, two prominent Democratic and Republican figures stood out. First, Barack Obama grabbed the spotlight as the Democratic nominee. His victory in Iowa was a significant turning point in his political career, and he later contributed greatly to his successful path as the Democratic presidential candidate. Meanwhile, Mike Huckabee's victory in the Republican Party strengthened his standing within the party. Their victories greatly impacted their respective parties' competition for the nomination and determined the course of the presidential race thereafter. Iowa's choice at the time ultimately served as a turning point in the landscape of the 2008 U.S. presidential election. 9. 2019, for the first time in mankind, China's Change 4 landed on the back of the moon. China's Change 4 is the first human to successfully land on the back of the moon. The landing took place on the morning of January 3rd, and it is the first time that the back of the moon, which is always facing the opposite direction to the Earth, has been explored. Change 4 is an unmanned probe, equipped with various equipment and investigating the environment behind the moon. The mission is expected to collect important data to understand the entire moon and contribute to scientific research. In particular, the back of the moon is a difficult area to communicate with, so China has made technological advances to deploy relay satellites into orbit to address. This solidifies China's presence in space exploration and opens up new possibilities for future moon exploration and space research. The success of Change 4 is an important milestone. Not only China, but also the whole world is paying attention to, and will have a big impact on future space exploration. 10. 2024, 3 people are killed and 6 others injured in a shooting at Perry High School in Iowa, U.S. Sad news came from Iowa in 2024. 3 people were killed and 6 others were injured in a shooting at Perry High School. The incident happened when students were in class at the school, and there was a lot of chaos at the scene. Police were immediately dispatched to control the situation and transfer the injured to a nearby hospital. The suspect in the incident was arrested at the scene, and police are investigating the motive. The incident has shocked the community, and there are growing concerns about school safety. Discussions about gun control are also expected to become more active. We extend our deepest condolences to the victims of this tragic incident and their families. So far, we have reported on the Perry High School shooting in Iowa.